Ghanaians living abroad, their contribution, remittances to Ghana, and those are remittances that have been tracked, not the ones that they give to a friend to come and give to somebody. Those that have been tracked 2 times, and even almost a 3rd time, they had contributed more than we generated locally, revenue. Those abroad generated more than we generate home. At a point, they were giving us more than we get from our cocoa. And I pause and ask myself, what's going on? I don't know where you stand.
Right. Samson, thanks for the opportunity. This is a very interesting topic. Interesting in the sense that there are a number of perspectives that, if they explain very well, it will liven up the conversation and then get people understand it the way it ought to be. Dual citizenship is not a bad idea. It is not. Because if you look at the thrust of the argument in there, it brings in a whole lot that today's world you can do without.
Right.
But people like us, my view is that there are certain critical positions that I believe somebody with a dual citizenship should not, occupy. And I'll go ahead to explain them. But I'll begin my submission by asking questions. That those who believe that dual citizenship is a good idea and that it should be made possible for everybody who is in that bracket to assume any position within the political space, I want them to also help me to understand this. Why can't also they extend the conversation to include the presidency? That, yes, if you believe that a dual citizen can be an IGP, can be the CDS, can be director of immigration, why not the president? That question should occupy their attention. Another one is that, why can't we have people with dual citizenship being full-blown military officers or police officers? Why? That conversation must also agitate their minds. I'm saying this because there are good reasons why in all this we have excluded the presidency. Critical because there are certain things that we hold dear to our hearts when we are dealing with government and we want to deal with the state. If you look at other jurisdictions which people cite that, it's happening here, it is a good thing here, in other jurisdictions it exists. One of the reasons why those things exist there is that institutions exist, and I'm talking about strong institutions that work. So monitoring and maintenance of the institution is top-notch. So if, for instance, you are a minister who have a dual citizenship and you are supposed not to do ABC, there is a whole system that will monitor you so that you don't cross the line. Is it the case in Ghana that we have the institutions which are strong enough to be able to help us to arrive at where we're supposed to have? If you also look at some of the positions, especially the key positions such as the IGP, the CDS, and the rest of them, even if you serve that office honestly, leave the office, and you want to take up certain responsibilities, you are required by writing to furnish the government of the day about your activities, and then they go through and give you the green light. That condition is there. Why is it there? It tells us that there's more to it, not necessarily the economic argument and the rest of them. But let's come back to governance. Governance, simply put, is how we made use of economic and political resources to make life better for human beings. All right? And you cannot do this without holding certain things dear to your heart. And that is why in governance, secrecy is critical. And you being a lawyer, you are very familiar with the secrecy laws that exist. Why are they there? Is to protect a certain interest. So in governance, secrecy is important. Interest, the state interest is important. That is why in order to prevent these things from abuse, there are laws that are, drafted to safeguard interest there. You see the conflict of interest, law, making sure that we are human beings. We will be confronted with a situation where we benefit from both ends. And then when it happens that way, it puts you into a conflict of interest situation when you are supposed to be a dual citizen in this regard. At that point, where would your allegiance or loyalty be? Obviously, where you benefit more will likely to hold the sway. So there is a law that regulates you, right? If you look at this, and then you also tie in to the issue of allegiance. Allegiance is so critical in governance because it is nothing but a civil service tradition that ensures that there is loyalty and honesty in the discharge of public duty, right? So all these things are put into the system to make sure that things work and they work the way they ought to be. Let us look at this situation that you have a CDS, you have IGP, and the rest of the security CAFOs who have dual citizenship, and they are working with the president who is not a dual citizen. What is the situation here? We are made to believe that, it's in quotes, the president is working with foreigners. There are sensitive information within the security framework that should not go out to anywhere. But
for example, information about what?
Information about the security of the state. There are certain specific information like it hasn't come to mind readily, but there are a number of them.
Yeah, because the thing is, anytime the issue comes up, this is the argument that is used about sensitive information, particularly regarding security. The way I like to help us to demystify is to ask the question I just asked you. I ask for example, and people will talk about our armory and what have you. And I ask the question, even today, our army is being trained by foreigners to combat terrorism. Most of what we have in our armory is either given to us for free or we take it from people and they know what they have given us. So what's the fear?
Let me give you a supply with example of that information. Information about declaration of war. If there's a situation where Ghana has to declare war against another country and you have CDS who have planned this with the president, would you want this information to be in the hands of somebody who will dual citizenship with that of the country that you are going to declare war with? We are human beings. Let us not pretend. It is natural that where I feel so strongly that I have some benefit, I will be able to
Is there not the potential for a mono citizen, someone who doesn't have allegiance to another country? Sorry, I said allegiance because I have come to understand the differences between who a dual citizen is and the question of allegiance. The two don't appear to be the same. Now, is it not, are the temptations not the same for somebody who is a mono citizen to betray their country?
Yes, but there we are saying that all these things, the potential for these things to blow up in our face is very much dependent on the institutions that we have and the kind of orientation, socialization we have walked people through. All right, is it the case in Ghana? We are not talking about any other country, but Ghana. Is it the case that our people have the socialization, the right attitude to be able to decide this thing perfectly the way we ought to be? We have seen instances here where security people plan swoop, and only to go there and realize that there are security men who are dealing with the criminals.
No dual citizens are involved.
All right. Yes. So we are saying that institutions are critical. The states that we are talking, that they are going full hog and implementing them, they have institutions that set the tone for these things to exist. Not only that, they have the right attitude through orientation, socialization, and all that. We are saying that, yes, that is why my intro was that it's not a bad idea, but let us watch.
Which do you prefer?
Yeah.
An obviously corrupt security person or a dual citizen or one who has allegiance to another country and has integrity?
You see, all these things were things that, if you look at the report on the committee of experts, all right, this one of the things...
That's for the Constitution.
Yeah, for the Constitution. One of the things that bothered or occupied the attention, they were very much alive.
Doc, sorry, but the copy of the Constitution you are holding,
yeah,
I can say without a doubt that this is one of the first copies of the Constitution when it was published.
Yes, yes.
You should see the color and the cover.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. They were alive with some of these challenges. And so if you look at their debate, they look at it and then they were able to grant that dual citizenship in this Constitution with the argument that there are economic benefits, there are economic refugees, and the rest of them, which you have alluded to, about the fact that, transfer of money into the country helped to build. But they caution us. If you read, I want to read with your permission, that we do not want an occasion where allegiance to Ghana is shared with allegiance to some other country. They were so emphatic that they believe that there is something in here that we need to examine and be critical about. And that is where I take my strength from. So I believe that, yes...
Has a lot not changed since 92?
A lot has changed, but have you also, can you say, without fear of contradiction, that you have institutions that have the capacity, the wherewithal to support this venture?
Not long ago, our Supreme Court said that if the president traveled, it meant his office is vacant.
Yes.
Should you be saying that when the president travels, he's the president?
Yeah.
Where he is, what he's doing it as a president. And in today's technological world, it's just by the tap of the button.
That is...
And there's no even sign that he has traveled.
It brings you to institutions and technology and the rest of them. The US president travels. And within the Air Force One, he's able to do a whole lot around the world. But let us also look at this sensitive position that I'm talking about and have a feel of what I have under my sleeves. If you take, for instance, an ambassador who is a dual citizen, and he's supposed to preside over, information about state-to-state relationship regarding his country and other countries. What is the point of having a diplomatic bag? What is the point? All right. Foreign policies are developed based on some of these high level of confidence, that you take information from where you reside and then you pass it on through a diplomatic bag.
Is it resolved? Is it resolved if the person is Canadian, is Ghanaian and acquires a Canadian citizenship, and you don't take them to Canada, you take them elsewhere?
It doesn't matter what.
So he doesn't become ambassador to Canada, but to Nigeria.
Yes.
High Commission.
Yes, I am saying, my position is that I'm not against dual citizenship per se, but I'm saying that this path we are charting, we should be careful
about it.
Careful about it. And